Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug. I'm the creator of Earthworm Jim, The Neverhood, Cat Scratch, and over 20 graphic novels. I'm a YouTuber. The links to some of my books are available in the description. You can go to my Shopify store and buy them if you'd like to support me. But now I'm going to do something mean to you. You must be punished with Kamala Harris.
Home ownership is an essential part of the American dream.
It always starts kind of easy with Kamala, and then it gets complicated.
For so many people, a home is more than simply a house.
The long pauses drive me crazy. I cut a lot of them out, but this is her professor lecture mode.
It is community. The community that comes from block parties, from cookouts, from lending a cup of sugar to the person who lives next door.
When was the last time you borrowed a cup of sugar or lent a cup of sugar to the person next door? She's talking about like the 1950s dream of neighborhoods. No one goes and borrows a cup of sugar from their neighbor. Can I have a cup of sugar? It's like get in your car, dial Amazon and order one. It'll be there.
A home represents financial security.
Unless you can't afford it, then a home represents slavery.
The opportunity to build wealth and equity.
I've been a homeowner for 30 years, and given the economic crises that the government keeps creating, we always end up with very little equity. It's largely been a ball and chain. The promise of my parents' generation, you buy a home, she is stuck in the 1950s here.
That can help put your child through college.
That's not how kids are going to college. They're borrowing money from the government, and then you Democrats forgive it. That's not how you do it anymore. You do not leverage your house to send your kids to school.
Afford retirement. Create intergenerational wealth within your family.
And the Democrats promise intergenerational wealth, and then they tax the living daylights out of your inheritance. There's no higher tax that they go after more than the inheritance tax. They hate the idea of you passing on savings to the next generation.
That's what all this represents. It is so much bigger than a piece of property.
No, this is another opportunity for you to come in and start a scam.
For years, as you have learned, I have been meeting and talking with homeowners about their dreams.
She has literally never talked to a single homeowner about their dreams of home ownership. Guaranteed.
And about the challenges that they face to become or be a homeowner.
These challenges are not a crisis. It's not that hard. Get a job and afford a home and then buy a home, otherwise rent. Some of the happiest years of my life was when I was a renter and didn't have to deal with a home.
As you have heard, when I was Attorney General of California, I met with so many families who...
She never once met with a family as she traveled up and down California.
At the time, were weeks away from losing their homes. I traveled up and down the state of California meeting with these families.
She went to resorts and probably ate at fancy French Laundry restaurants. She has not gone and talked to a family suffering in California. I don't think ever.
And you see, the folks that I met with, for the most part, were folks who had trusted the system and the financial services system, trusted that they would be treated fairly by these systems, by the big banks.
No, don't blame banks, because the average person also trusts that the U.S. government will treat them fairly. And they're worse than the big banks. If you want to talk about the system, let's talk about your government.
But who instead were victimized by predatory lending practices.
And we are victimized by a predatory government, especially the predator-in-chief, Joe Biden.
And so, being Attorney General, I held the banks accountable, as did many of our partners around the country.
Democrats are real big on envy and class warfare, so they always roll out the big bugaboo guy, the banks. These are billionaire, millionaire institutions, mostly run by Democrats.
And for California, we were able to secure $20 billion for the homeowners of California.
This was money flushed down the toilet on people who couldn't afford their homes, and the government came in and thought that giving them money would help them keep their homes. And in the end, it did not stabilize anything, because when you give people free money, don't use it the same way that they use money that they've earned.
And fraud education programs to teach people how to fight against fraud and to avoid fraud.
Well, the first step in avoiding fraud is to not vote for Democrats. There's no bigger fraud. By the way, if you're an elderly person, the biggest advice I can give you to actually avoid fraud is never click a link in your emails. You'll get emails saying you owe bills to Amazon, they're fake. You owe bills to Google, they're fake. Don't click a link. That's how you avoid fraud. Don't answer the phone if you don't recognize the number. That's how you avoid fraud. That's two things. Don't click a link. Don't answer a number. I know that you want to answer it and you're curious going, oh, who is calling me? And they go, sir, you owe Amazon money. Just give us your banking information, and you've now become a victim of fraud. Don't click a link in an email. Don't answer phone numbers that you don't recognize.
But President Biden and I understood what was going on behind the scenes, how that had happened.
Joe Biden has not understood anything for the last 2 years. I don't think he even understands who he is.
We understood that people, through no fault of their own, were on the brink of eviction or foreclosure.
It's literally always your fault if you're on the brink of foreclosure. You did something. When I have poor income years, and I have a lot of them as an artist, it is my fault. It's me. It is not your fault. It is my fault. It's always my fault. If I default on my loan, it is my fault.
And that brings us to today, where we are here to make an announcement about how we can help more people in connection with their ability to be a homeowner. So here's how it works. So let's say that you dream of buying a home like so many hardworking people.
Oh man, they are feeding you bait. It's the old Ronald Reagan, the worst thing you could ever hear is, I'm from the government.
9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Everybody grab your wallets and hide, because here it comes.
And you have a steady job, and you work hard, and you work good, but your credit score could be a little bit better.
This is literally false. If you work hard and work good at a steady job for a long time, your credit score will go up. There's nothing you can do about it. She's going to talk about undermining the credit score ranking, which is what Democrats do, whether if it's for upping grades for people that don't qualify for college. They're going to talk about removing this standard and jacking the system, that though you have a low credit score, they need to get you some money that you don't deserve because your credit score doesn't lie.
So even though you've been saving, you still do not have enough for a 10 or 20% down payment.
Dad told me that means you're not ready for a house. If you can't qualify for a loan for a 10 or a 20% down payment, you need to work harder, longer, so that you do qualify. You do not remove the standard of credit scores. Not that that's a problem. The problem is you need to save more. I got good news. This is about you. I'm here to help you. Kamala here is saying she's going to remove the standard. By the way, that does not help you. It harms you and harms everyone in the system.
As part of that scenario, right? You're working hard, you have a dream, but you don't have enough of that 10 or 20% down payment.
Yeah, that's a false dream. You know what? I dream of having a flying car. No one seems to be staying up at night for it. You may have a dream of home ownership. Just save longer. And if you don't qualify, you're going to go into a world of hurt where you get a home that you can't afford, and you don't want to be in that situation.
Well, if you went to a bank and if your credit score weren't perfect, if you went to a bank, it's unlikely they would approve you for a home loan.
Banks are smart. They don't like giving money to people who can't pay their bills. And a low credit score is usually a first Warning indicator that you've borrowed money that you can't pay back, usually credit card debt. I can't believe I have to even explain this, but I think Kamala does not understand how economics work.
Well, you see, that's not only a problem for that individual, that presents a problem for our nation. And I'm going to tell you why. We know that when we increase home ownership, it strengthens communities and it strengthens our economy.
We agree that a preferred end is to get more people in homes, but we also know that giving people homes that have poor credit scores does not strengthen communities. It weakens them. That's how you create a housing crisis like we got out of from Obama/Bush in 2008 that took 10 years to recover from, and we're about to go into another one, and she's about to exacerbate it.
Homeowners are more likely to put down roots. Studies have shown homeowners are more likely to volunteer for local charities, to vote in local elections, to start a small business.
Not just homeowners with a high credit score.
But we also realized, after talking to folks, it's time for an upgrade.
Grab your wallets, call the police.
Because we have been traveling around the country and we've been talking with folks.
She's never talked.
And for too many, what we realized is the monthly cost of an FHA loan is still too high.
That's a lie.
That is why today I am proud to announce that starting on March 20th, we are reducing mortgage insurance payments for all new FHA homeowners by nearly 40%.
Yeah, this is going to solve nothing. This is a solution to a problem that doesn't exist.
And what this means is, on average, homeowners will pay at least $800 a year less on their mortgage. And that's $800 more in your pocket for household expenses.
So you can $800 in your pocket so you can afford to buy eggs. Everybody happy? They've just jacked your life. What you're paying for now for just basic subsidy, fuel, heating, eggs, they've gone up 17%. That is way more than $800 a year. So you're screwed because of these people.
And so this work we do, understanding we have to see people in their whole selves and all of the facets that are part of every person that must be seen and addressed.
It's word salad time with lots of hand symbols. Your whole selves.
We do this work because we know that when we lower costs for working people, when working people can buy a home, when working people can thrive, our nation thrives.
I got news for Kamala. Working people can always buy a home if they wait long enough. And if you're not ready, you're not ready. And the government ain't going to help you get ready.
So, in conclusion, I'll say, together, let us continue to create opportunity.
The government doesn't create opportunity in any other way than getting out of your way.
And to invest in the ability of all Americans to realize their dreams.
My dream is for you to get the heck out of my life. And that dream is not going to come true. I'm Doug in Exile.